How's it going, everyone? This is your Astrology Horoscope for Friday, March 29th, 2024. I'm astrologer Alex Skyles, and welcome to the Moonbase. Hope you guys are doing amazing. It's good to be here with all of you. Happy Friday. We're coming towards the end of March here. We only got a few days left, and on April 1st, Mercury's coming retrograde. So Mercury today is pretty much in the conversation, with the moon in Scorpio still, and then the moon will come into Sag later in the evening, late afternoon going into the evening, depending on where you are, obviously. But I think today, intuitively, it's off the charts today. Our unconscious and our subconscious are very active today. Today can be very creative if you're willing to go to deep, deep, deep places, right? If you're willing to go to those deep, scorpionic, unconscious, and Piscean, underworld, out of this world kind of, realms that we don't always get to access, which lately we have gotten to access with Neptune so strong. It's still strong, even though the sun's in Aries. But, today's one of these days where it's like we can really go to some deep, deep, deep places and uncover some pretty amazing things. And I definitely think, too, with the intuition, and vibration, subconsciously being so high, this moon will in conjunct Mercury. So to me, it's like when you go to those deep, deep places and you want to uncover some information, you really want to reflect. This is a really kind of a reflection kind of day, especially with Mercury really getting ready to fully stop here. It's very reflective. So this could take us into some very deep areas, but at the same time, it's like we don't want to, look too far into things with this moon in conjunct Mercury. We don't want to try to fixate on things or obsess over thoughts that aren't really helping us get to a higher vibration, especially with this moon making this great trine to Neptune before it'll come into Sag. So it's like, if you're falling into a fixed state or obsession, or just really, going in a loop. With Neptune and Pisces, we can really get caught in a loop. And with the moon and Scorpio, it's like, we can fixate on that one little thing that really doesn't have much to do with the bigger picture. Jupiter is moving forward, so it's like it's about to come to 17 degrees here. In the last 10 minutes of Jupiter is 16th. So, the bigger picture is becoming more and more relevant as the days go on. Even though with Mercury coming retrograde, it's like in our environments and in ourselves, and definitely, things that, we've been working on when it comes to communications and when it comes to things that we are as individuals, as ourselves, have really put effort into. We need to revisit some things, so we can really, if we're willing to trust our instincts, but not look too far into things and let it kind of take us into crazy land, we can really stumble across some interesting information really related to ourselves, and our unconscious and our, spiritual nature. And when we're talking about Neptune, and Venus is getting closer to Neptune, so like creatively, this moment is off the charts. Venus and Neptune are going to conjunct at 28 degrees here. So Neptune's going to come to 28. Venus will come, to 28. And that energy together is very creative. It's very spiritual. And definitely when it comes to creative projects, it's like there's this spiritual undertone, or, if you're trying to manifest more beautiful things in your life or better financial opportunities in your life, now's the time to really project that vision in your mind of what you want, and with the sun in Aries and Mercury in Aries, it's like we really have to take action. So our 3D reality and how we actually need to just, act in a very Martian way. The moon's still in a Mars ruled sign. We have the sun and Mercury in a Mars ruled sign. So it's like as active as our subconscious is, and as active as the manifestation energy is with Jupiter here and Taurus. Taurus is all about manifestation. Jupiter is all about manifesting the future, and Neptune, especially with Venus here, being exalted in Pisces and ruling Taurus, it's about manifesting, from a spiritual place, from a divine place, where the synchronicities like really start to show up. I mean, we're in such a synchronistic moment. We have been for weeks, so I think there's a lot of connections that are going to be playing out here. But at the same time, it's like we don't want to look too far into things. We don't want to get too caught up in the things we can't control, right? And this moon in Scorpio always wants to control things emotionally. And if it can't, it can really just kind of act out in an emotional way. So, we have to keep on that spiritual vibration. We have to know that everything is working out for a greater purpose here, especially with Venus and Neptune. I think any sort of love and romantic connections or creative partnerships or financial gains that are being had here, especially with Uranus and Taurus. I mean, Uranus and Aquarius in the 11th house, it's all about gains, right? Like gaining something that can impact your life, impact humanity in an exciting way, So, we're talking about big gains here with Jupiter getting closer and closer to Uranus with Venus and Neptune conjunction. But we also have to keep in mind, it's like Mars and Pisces on its way to Saturn. This is that kind of accident-prone energy. So we have to, don't fall asleep at the wheel. If you're driving, don't fall asleep. If you're too tired to drive, don't drive. If you're out partying and drinking, don't be drinking and driving. Like, we're going to see a lot of accidents come on here with, Mars getting closer to Saturn in Pisces. And, if you're out on the water, if you're doing things in the water, you're boating, be very careful. It's a big risk to take right now, right? Be extra cautious, be extra careful. Mars and Saturn together can be pretty volatile. And it's in Pisces, so it's in very weird ways, and not necessarily in an Aries way where it's just like, here I am, I'm going to fuck you up. Like, it's like very strange ways. Mars and Saturn together can, but at the same time, when Mars and Saturn come together, it's like, man, we can really get shit done. We can really fucking make shit happen and really, kind of, this is the energy, especially in Pisces, where it's easy to really block shit out, block out, reality, so to say, to really focus on what you want to focus on, On the other end of that, in the shadow side of things, it's really easy to get caught up in, chaos, being caught up in subconscious places where you just want to check out, and there's gonna be a lot of I hate to say these kinds of things, but when we have Mars and Saturn in Pisces like this, it's like people can really just not be in reality. It's like, especially when it comes to drugs and alcohol, or mental health. Or people just losing their shit, right? Just totally snapping off. So, I mean, there's a shadow. Like this, we always have to keep in mind. It's when we're looking at the astrology, we're looking at the light and the dark, and the shadow, right? There's two sides to everything. Pisces is wonderful and magical and beautiful and spiritual, and it's compassionate and it's loving and it's connected to God and all these things. But at the same time, it's like. And Pisces is where we escape reality. We, just want to, end it all and leave our bodies, right? Like there's two sides to everything here. And, we've had to be very careful with Mars getting closer to Saturn. So later in the day, this is exciting. So we're going to have the moon come into Sagittarius here in the afternoon. It'll sextile over to Pluto. So, we're ready to expand on some shit. Like, we're ready to really take the journey and dive deep and really uncover some pretty amazing information. And I think today it's like, at the same time, it's like we can make some really amazing connections that can really expand upon our beliefs. In the unconscious kind of up rising that we can have. Like, I think reality can reflect, or other people can reflect back our unconscious patterns and behaviors, and we can really start to see them and really question them and, think about them, and really get to the bottom of things today. The moon in Scorpio wants to get to the bottom of things. Pluto wants to get to the bottom of things. And the moon in Sag, it just wants to know more. It wants to know. It wants to learn. It wants to learn about itself, And at the same time, it's like we have to be very careful because this moon will square Mars tonight going into tomorrow. But it's like, we want to, if you're out doing shit tonight, it's Friday night, be extra careful with this moon in Sag squaring Mars. It's like moon in Sag just wants to go fucking party, Mars in Pisces wants to do some fun things where it can just escape reality for a minute. That's great. Be very careful. This energy can be kind of volatile and kind of crazy, man. This is when the crazies kind of come out and pop out of the woodwork, But we got the moon in Sag, we have the sun in Aries, so, things are hot, The sun's now at 10 degrees of Aries. It's in the second decan. So, we're full blown in Aries season now. And yeah, we got to be extra careful with Mars and Pisces. The moon in Sag making a square here. So, especially it's like you just don't want to get caught up in confrontation over beliefs or, well, you don't think what I think, well, fuck you. Like, kind of mentality. It's like, just play it cool as much as you can. Don't be taking too many big risks and like thinking you're going to get away with things, because this is where mistakes can be made with this moon squaring Mars and Pisces. Tonight can be a fun night. It can also be some volatile things that can happen if you're not careful. That's all I can say about that. But it can be fun. It can be a lot of fun. And this moon, and Sag coming into the weekend, it's like it's going to be a fun weekend. The moon, it'll have to deal with Saturn, and it'll have to deal with Venus and Neptune, but at the same time, it's like we got the sun, Mercury, and fire signs. So, we want to stay realistic as possible with this moon and Sag. And we want to be able to think about things in a deeper way and understand it's like, hey, we want to bring amazing, beautiful things in our life. And we want to be able to be protected as well. We want to protect ourselves, and be cautious and be careful, with Mars here, Venus, the moon is square Venus coming into the weekend. Don't be overdoing things, take things in moderation here on Friday night. Definitely we'll talk more about that on the weekend, but take things in moderation. It's definitely a party vibe for sure. Just be very cautious with this energy. But overall, I think today, with the moon in Scorpio, trining Neptune, making an inconjunct to Mercury, and then the moon will trine Pluto later, I think deep within ourselves, we can definitely discover some things that can be very valuable, that can really help us understand our beliefs in a different way, in a unique way. And our beliefs are changing rapidly. I think our beliefs that are surrounding this whole Jupiter-Uranus conjunction about what the physical world really is and how to keep things practical, and definitely our beliefs revolving around money, our opinions around money. It's like this is a moment where people's opinions are very strong. With so much Jupiter energy, it's like, man, people are very stubborn and rooted in their beliefs, and this Jupiter-Uranus is really going to shake things up in a badass way, But if you're willing to really not be stuck, and definitely with the moon in Sag and Jupiter dispositing the moon this weekend, like some big, big, big emotions can come into play. But also, it's like we want to be able to share our opinions and our beliefs and our values together, because there's definitely going to be some clashing going on with the moon squaring Venus on Saturday and all that kind of stuff. So, there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of things going on in the world, and definitely when connected to technology and how social media is changing so much right now. I mean, I don't know if you have seen, but it's like I've had so many issues with Instagram, and now they came out with a new update, and it's totally changed how the algorithm functions. It totally changed how the ad sets work. We don't have to go into details, but everything is shifting and changing. And the whole TikTok thing, it's like, man, with this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, things are going to shift when it comes to technology and social media and how we're connected as people and individuals and how we feel secure and safe within that. Because it gets to a point where, man, we start having to question what the hell is really going on. And then this is where people really start to band together and form their own communities. I'm experiencing that in my personal life as well, of not dealing with the public school systems. This is kind of something I'm dealing with at home. It's like, man, really finding ways to not deal with the public school systems, with my children. And the whole thing surrounding that, it's just really strange, especially in California. It's very odd. So, having to find some loopholes, and I think Jupiter-Uranus conjunction is going to help humanity find some loopholes, that this Pluto and Aquarius kind of shadow underneath all of this energy going on is, trying to suppress, right? So, we have the Eight of Pentacles today, so we have to keep building. We have to keep growing. We have to keep focusing on what we're manifesting with this Jupiter in Taurus, on its way towards Uranus. We have to keep focusing on our own shit. This dude is very much self-absorbed, right? With this North Node in Aries, this Mercury in Aries, it's okay to fall into what you are doing at this moment. With the South Node in Libra, it's like we want to let go of feeling like we have to please everybody in the moment all the time. It's like we have to focus on what we're building, what we're growing, what we want to show in the world, the value that we want to give to the world, and the value that we know we have as individuals, and focusing on our own tasks at hand that are really going to create a better future for us, and focusing on ourselves and not getting distracted with what the hell's going on in the media, especially with so much, Neptune energy still very strong, especially with Mars. There's a lot of distractions right now. And when it comes to relationships where, it feels like it's just pulling you out of yourself, if you're in relationship situations that are pulling you out of yourself and not allowing you to be the person that you want to be. Of course, there's boundaries and there's limitations in our own experience as individuals. But when relationships pull us out of who we are, those are the areas where we have to sever. And these eclipses are definitely doing that for us and helping us get to a better place with all that stuff, So the Eight of Pentacles, it's like we really have to focus on what we're doing. Like, this is what I care about in this moment, and this is what I want to grow and what I want to expand on, and the value I want to bring into the world and give to people. So, yeah, today's a great day. We can uncover some pretty amazing stuff, with the moon in Scorpio, the moon coming into Sag, sextiling Pluto. Just don't look too far into things. Don't get too caught up in the nonsense and the distractions, So, I appreciate all of you. If you're new here, subscribe to my channel. Find me on Instagram, which has become a pain in the ass. Yeah, if you want to book a reading with me, all the links to all of my platforms and my booking website is in the description of this video. May is starting to fill up. I am going to post a reading sale for this Jupiter-Uranus, Sun-Jupiter conjunction. I think there's some really amazing things to cover there. And I am going to be coming out with some new content next week as well. I've been meaning to do that for a while. I've just been so busy. I have so much other work going on as well, amongst doing this every single day and readings and all the records that I'm working on with amazing artists, like doing a lot, plus children as well. So I appreciate every single one of you, and I will see you all for the weekend. Peace out. Be safe with this moon squaring Mars today on Friday. Moderation is key. Peace.